Women are so magical and they know this. They know that when we tap into certain powers, we can make things happen.
The moon is important to a woman's well being, especially a spiritual woman. As significant as the moon is to a farmer, so should it be to a spiritual woman. She must always have an awareness of the moon and its phases and how it affects her magic, because it does. The moon affects everything on earth. The moon affects the soil, the moon affects water, the moon affects plants, and that includes herbs. A spiritual woman tends to be a herbalist. So she must know the importance of reaping herbs during the full moon or in the new moon. It's important to know when to cut lumber as well. You cannot cut a tree for lumber when it is the full moon. The moon pulls all of the liquid up to the trunk of the tree. And so you're going to end up with a lot of liquid in the lumber. It will take long to dry. Or you're going to end up with a lot of insects or holes in the lumber because insects are attracted to the tree trunks at this time. So it's the same thing also for bamboo. We live in a country where we use a lot of bamboo, and everybody knows that bamboo will be full of holes if you try and cut it during the full moon. So there is a time and a place for everything. And the cycles of earth tells us when the right times are for particular things. The moon also affects the way animals behave, the way insects behave, even us. We are supposed to be about 70% water, our bodies. And so, if water is so affected by the moon, then we must be affected by the moon as well. And if the moon affects nature so much, it must affect women because we are connected to nature. The moon is said to be associated with emotions, with goddesses, with witches, with femininity, with nurturing, with receptivity, with women. All feminine things. The moon is also connected to our menstrual cycle, as they're both 28-day cycles. I don't know that there is any other cycle within Earth that is 28 days except us, our menstrual cycle, and the moon. And we both wax and wane right throughout the month. So that's our connection to the moon. Being aware of moon cycles also keeps you grounded and connected to Earth. Even if you live in the city with very little nature around you, you can always use the moon to feel that connection with Earth.
Our ancestors would observe the cosmos, and that includes the moon, to track time. And this is vital because as modern people, we're very out of touch with the natural rhythm of the earth, and especially because we've decided that we're gonna create our own time and not follow the time that is set within universal laws. The earth has its own cycles, and so we should really be following the cycles within the earth to understand and know time. But as you can see through the Gregorian calendar, in a month we have 31 days and 30 days and sometimes 29 days in a month. That isn't in sync with any of the cycles within Earth, So it's one of the reasons why we're so out of balance, because we're so disconnected from nature. And you really have to wonder, like, why do they do these things? One of the beautiful things about the moon is that you can use it to power your manifestations. And as a woman, you already have a powerful manifestation tool, your womb, right? So when you use the moon along with their womb to manifest, it's like a superpower. It's like you get a boost. You understand? So this is one of the reasons why women are so magical, and they know this. They know that when we tap into certain powers, we can make things happen. We can make things change. We can do a lot of things with our energy if we really tap into it from our purest selves. I think I'm gonna do this in this video in 3 parts. Today I want to get into the phases of the moon, and then I want to do a separate video for the new moon phase, doing rituals with the new moon phase and doing rituals with the moon phase. I think they deserve to be spoken about separately. So the moon has 8 phases. Each phase has a different purpose and different energy and can be used for different things. In one phase, the moon is waxing, which means it is growing. And then in the second phase, it is waning. That means it's getting smaller and it's going towards darkness. Each of these 8 phases lasts for 3.5 days, right? But each of them are significant. So we're gonna get into all 3 of them today. So the first phase of the moon is the new moon phase. And this is one of the high points of the lunar cycle. It's a very important phase. This is one of the most popular phases with the manifestors, right? People who love manifesting. Because this is the point where you set your intentions. This is the point where you set your goals. This is the phase of the moon that is good for new beginnings. It's a good phase to plant seeds. So I recommend during this time that you write down your intentions, right? Writing is good for helping you to visualize what it is that you want and your goals. Set your goals for the month, set your goals for the week, set your goals for the year, set your goals for 10 years, whatever it is that you want to. And this past new moon was a good time to set intentions because it was a solar eclipse as well. So the energy was really powerful during that time. So I hope you guys did set some really good intentions for the next phase of your life, the next phase that we will be going into as well. When I do the video on new moon, we'll get into details about how exactly you should set your intentions with the new moon. The second phase of the lunar cycle is the waxing crescent moon, and this for me is like the spring. Remember I told you that I like to divide the moon phases into 4. I like to separate them by seasons. So I do winter and spring and summer and fall, right? The new moon phase is where the winter is, right? As soon as you enter into the waxing crescent phase, then you go into spring, right? And in this phase now, it's where you start seeing your goals blossom. You start to see a spring of something. You start to see an opportunity arise, a door opens, something happens, and so the energy starts to increase during this period of spring. The third phase of the moon cycle is the first quarter moon phase, and this is where the moon looks half full, but you're basically halfway between new moon and full moon. Again, the energy is increasing, so this is a good time to make a step towards what you want. No matter how small the step is, just make a step towards it. If you're really serious about it and you want to push forward, make a move, right? If not, you can fall back and wait for the next moon phase or until you're ready, right? But it's important to know if you're ready. The fourth phase of the moon cycle is the gibbous moon phase. And this is the beginning of the summer energy, right? The energy is increased. It's heightening. It is building up. So now is the time to make a bold move towards your goals, right? So this phase and the previous phase is what I would say is in alignment with our ovulation, right? So for women during this phase, we're extremely energized, we're frisky. We want to, we want to create. So either we're going to create sexually or we're going to do something creative. We're going to build something. That's why I said, this is a good time for women in business to focus their energy on their business, if they want to create something new, if they want to focus on something in their business that they want to improve, this is the phase to do it, right? So it's the same thing as well with the moon phases. When you're in the gibbous phase, you really want to tap into the energy and do something brave and bold towards your goal, right? This is summer. This is like Leo energy, you know, it's boldness, it's braveness, it's courage, you know, going after what you want. And of course, the fifth phase of the lunar cycle is the full moon. I think this is the most popular phase because everybody loves the full moon. Who doesn't love the full moon? Everybody loves looking at the full moon. Like, if you don't like the full moon, are you human? Like, something is wrong with you if your energy doesn't change during the full moon. So this is the other high point of the lunar cycle. And I spoke about this phase in a previous video that I talked about, you know, releasing the negative emotions attached to a toxic relationship. So how you can release your attachment or your triggers from a previous relationship and heal. So it's a good time to release attachment to relationships that never served you. So your new moon intention for this now would have been, I no longer want to feel any attachment to Peter. You can also release the goal as well. You know, you can let go. Two ways you can release. You can release the goal because you realize that it's not gonna manifest now, and so you need to refocus your energy on something else before you do this. Or you can just release it, as in you've set your intention and you trust the process and you just release and let go and allow the universe to do what it needs to do to help it manifest. You just let it go. The more you hold on tight to something is the more you repel it. So release it and let go. The full moon is also a good time for forgiveness. As I said, it's a good time to release. So you want to forgive others, you want to forgive people, you want to forgive yourself, you want to forgive the situation, right? And releasing these energies really does help you with manifesting because it helps to remove blockages within you. The full moon is a good time to release all blockages, all negativity, everything that no longer serves you. Release it with the full moon, right? And I'll link that video above so you guys can go check out what I said in that video. I'm sure there was some good notes. The full moon really pulls on our emotions. So during the full moon, we may feel a lot of things come up. Again, it's a high point in the lunar cycle, so it's really high energy. So depending also on what zodiac sign the moon phase is in, it may affect you differently as well, you know. So it's important to know that when there's a full moon, I don't know, I just knock out. I tend to just say release everything. I have a fuck it attitude. When there is a full moon, I just let go completely and just knock out. This point for me in the full moon, it's always, it is what it is, you know. So it's either I'm gonna fall back, go back to the drawing board, or I'm gonna move forward. But I don't sit down and back and forth. I can't deal with the emotional push and pull. Like, me can't manage that, you understand? So I'd rather just release it and let go. The sixth phase of the lunar cycle is called the disseminating phase. And this phase for me is similar to my premenstrual phase of the, you know, of our menstrual cycle. It's when you tend to get depressed. It's when you tend to get down, your energy starts to drop, you feel lower, and mainly you can get sad if you don't feel like you've made any, you know, headway towards your goal. You feel like you haven't done anything, you feel like you haven't achieved anything, or maybe you set an intention that you really thought you would manifest by full moon and you haven't. So it can get you down. Depression is just an indication that you need deep rest, right? So this is a phase to just relax, just rest, just let it go. There's nothing you can do now. This is not the phase to try and set any intentions, to try something new, it's just accept where you are and move forward. Just chill, just relax, right? And get ready for the next phases. You can't do nothing again. This is where it's at. But it's okay. You can let go, you can reflect, and you can regroup, right? Nothing wrong. You're still good. The seventh phase of the lunar cycle is called the third quarter moon phase. So this is again where the moon looks half full, because we're halfway between full and new moon, right? So the sun is illuminating one side of the moon. This is a time to really reflect on your goal. Is it a goal worth giving up, or do you want to redo the script and continue? Like, what do you want to do? This is the phase to figure out that. So the eighth phase is the balsamic moon phase. And balsamic actually means to yield. So you completely yield and surrender to wherever you are in your goal. Wherever you are, just yield and surrender to it. And this is also the winter part of the moon phase. This is where it begins. So again, just like our menstrual cycle is in the winter phase, it's a time of rest, it's a time of replenishing, it's a time of relaxation. It's a time to just rest and reset. This is a good phase to find something extremely relaxing to do. Go to a spa, go to the river, just do something extremely chill, nothing too exciting. Truly, most people focus on the new moon energy and the full moon energy, but I think the phases in between really help you to focus on your goal and not forget, because people tend to forget about their goals after the new moon. You don't revisit it, you don't think about it again. You know, sometimes full moon come again and you haven't even thought about whether or not you have manifested or you've made any strides, you know. So it's a good thing to use the other phases because it helps you to track where you are and your progress. Those are the 8 phases of the lunar cycle and how you can use them when you are setting intentions, when you are trying to create, when you want to create and you want to tap into that creative energy, when you want to make things happen, when you want to change things. Tap into the power of the moon and the energy of the moon to know when to focus your energy, where to focus your energy, how to focus your energy. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned. I don't know if I'm gonna post, I don't know if the next video is gonna be the second part. It may or may not be, I'm not sure, but definitely look out for the second part and the third part, where I'm gonna talk in depth about the new moon phase and the full moon phase. All right, so thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and comment. The likes really helps with the algorithms, so make sure you give me some thumbs up, guys. So that's it. Take care of yourself and we'll link up in the next video. All right, later.